Do you know how many minutes there are in a day? 1,440. Do you know how many hours there are in a week? 168. It's interesting to me that rich people cannot buy more hours. Scientists cannot invent new minutes. You cannot even save time to spend it on another day. You've got a little time today, you say, well, I'd like to save it up for tomorrow. You can't do that. Do you number your days? Do you realize how important every single day is?
I remember the first moment when I became completely blown away and intrigued with the idea of being a magician. That was the moment that I knew that I could actually be good at this. It is the most fun thing in the world to me. I tend to like questions a lot more than answers, and what a magic trick does is it forces you into a place of questioning, and it pulls the rug of reality out from underneath you to where you're literally left in a place where you don't know what is happening. As a magician, you're very skeptical, and you realize that most of what's going on behind the scenes is fake or false. The idea of an all-powerful God seems incredibly silly. And when I talk to people that would go to church, I can remember thinking that they were just falling for a simple magic trick. It's like the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain, controlling everything. I'd grown up understanding how to make people believe something was real when it was really not. I am a master of phoniness. I'm a charlatan by craft. But I began to ask myself a big God question. I said, God, if you are real, then I need you to bring me back behind the curtain. I need you to show me how it works. And I need you to make this so real to me that I cannot ignore it. I will never forget the day this man walks into my room and he said, Mr. Monroe, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have cancer. I said, what? And he looked at me and said, Mr. Monroe, he said, we cannot cure you of your disease. My wife and I we were in a bad place. God, where are you? I guess you aren't that great. I had been married for 5 years. I had just a 3-year-old girl and a 2-year-old little boy, and I needed more time with my family. I needed more time. The cancer doctor looked at me and said, Mr. Monroe, he said, we cannot cure you of your disease. There is something, however, that we would like to try. It's called a bone marrow transplant. The problem with your body is that your white blood cells are making bad copies of bad copies. And what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to find someone in the world whose DNA matches yours close enough to grow a brand new immune system, a brand new blood system from scratch. We're gonna substitute someone else's perfect blood on your behalf so that you can live again.
God said, without the shedding of blood, there's no forgiveness. There has to be a substitute for you who will take the judgment that you deserve, the death that you deserve, and that substitute became Jesus Christ.
I was thinking to myself, man, my time is running out. I am dying of cancer.
It's been hard to deal with Right now, Peyton is 3 years old and Galvin is 2 years old. My 2 babies. Should this take my life early? I love you.
They began the most vicious concoction of chemo, the goal of which was not just to destroy the cancer in my body, but was literally to destroy me. It was hell. It was a slow death.
I really am scared. I'm really trying not to be fearful, but I am fearful. I'm trying to be strong for my wife and for my family. But I'm pretty scared.
We are waiting to hear from the National Bone Marrow Donor Program. 7 million people currently registered on the database. And there was one perfect match for me. Just one. It was a 19-year-old female. They said, Mr. Monroe, your bone marrow transplant is scheduled for April 23rd. The nurses celebrate your new birth in the hospital. Literally, I was gonna be born anew. And then I'll never forget, on April 23rd, they brought this bag of blood into my room, and everyone was hoping in that moment that my body would receive that new life, that new blood. I sit here today, 100% completely cancer-free. And when they look at my blood today, they see literally someone else living on the inside of me. They see XX chromosome. I'm reminded of a verse in Galatians 2. It says, it's no longer I who live, but it's someone else who lives on the inside of me. And the life that I now live, I live by faith.
You saved my life. Oh, really? Yeah. That's awesome. You saved my life. I almost died of leukemia. She
John 17:3, it says, this is eternal life, knowing you, God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. I'm fully convinced of the claims of Jesus, as a skeptical person and as an illusionist. I know that the God of the universe has brought me back behind the curtain just like I asked him to. Cancer was how he did it through my life. And there's a spiritual cancer that's eating us away on the inside. And we're all longing, we're all begging for someone to step in and to save us from that condition.